I didn't enjoy it that much. But welcome everybody to our third and final game of the night. This is Dungeons 2. This was a series that built to be like Dungeon Keeper, similar to War for the Overworld. I have not played this one at all, so I'm curious to see how it goes. As we were just talking about... Oh, good, we have an evil laughter. Alright, we'll go with this one. But despite War for the Overworld and Dungeons, it seems like Dungeon Keeper still is like the de facto standard for these kinds of games. Like, they're basically a mix of like tower defense with light, I guess, like, what do we consider, like a city builder or something smaller?
It was time. The troops of the Absolute Evil had driven the Alliance back to their capital, King's Ending. The time for the final battle had arrived.
I still wish we got a true, more of what was it, Overlord. I think I own Dungeon Keeper 2 from GOG.
Once upon a time there was a kingdom full of flowers and rainbows, where the sun shone all the time and there was loads of that goody-goody, lovey-dovey good people stuff going on.
I think Bambi's gonna die here.
The alliance of abominably good people lived in unearned wealth and prosperity.
Boo. Go evil.
But there was a path leading to a different place there. At the end of this path was a rock. There was a cave carved in this rock in which the Absolute Evil lived. It wasn't a grubby, damp cave smelling of muck and mildew, but a deep, dark dungeon, so dark that even darkness itself was afraid of it.
Is it advanced darkness?
It was home to numerous innocent monsters who enjoyed a happy, contented existence, living in complete harmony with their environment.
There's one dead unicorn.
But time and again, the sickening, sweet-smelling good visited this underworld in search of treasure and experience points. Many monsters found this to be the death of them, but much worse, the Absolute Evil's treasures were being stolen. One day, just as a few more heroes had finished plundering its dungeon, the Absolute Evil decided it had had enough, and decided to do something new, something quite monstrous. Go to the surface.
That was a good wipe there.
The Alliance tried to resist, but the approaching horde just flowed over them like an angry wave of axes, teeth, and bad breath. After numerous unrelenting battles, the Absolute Evil finally stood before the Alliance's capitals. King's Ending.
Alright. So let's see what we got here. One of these days I want to play either that 2-Point Hospital or Project Hospital too. What is going on?
After countless battles, the forces of the Absolute Evil reached the Alliance capital, King's Ending. The laughable remnants of the forces of good had come here to make ready for the final battle. Evil would pay a high price indeed to storm those fortress walls. Also,
something about the game just didn't work for me. It just seemed very repetitive.
Suddenly, a rumble rose from deep within the earth. Stones burst asunder, revealing an ancient
I didn't like
path
the
into depths.
defense side of things either.
Out of the depths of Stygian darkness arises the invincible evil. With earth-shaking steps, the unstoppable evil began its trek towards the front. In the terribly improbable event that it may have forgotten how that works, a formidable help function
Goodbye, Bunny
has
Rabbit.
been provided.
Oh, we just did 666 damage. left and right hand of the devil.
The presence of the absolute evil was also reflected in the land itself. Grass withered, and in places the ground tore open to reveal bubbling lava.
Oh, die, building. Alright, where are we going here? Oh, there you go.
Even the forest could not withstand the aura of the old and beat a hasty retreat. A few of the Alliance units had entrenched themselves here. A determined absolute evil marched towards them in order to strike them down with its mighty weapon.
Can't hurt me, I'm the bad guy.
Absolute evil had discovered a medal. These legendary awards ensured a creature could be made even more powerful. Only with one downside, the creature could only wear one at a time. Eyes ablaze with greed, the insidious evil gazed upon the blood-drenched battlefield. Here the last defenders of good would die, and an age of evil.
Hey.
Projectiles from the Alliance's catapults darkened the sky, but the Horde's fighting skills were at their best in darkness, if they survived.
There's definitely a lot of games to play.
Nothing and no one could stop
Die,
the
wizard.
invincible evil.
I mean, are there any other examples besides, like, this and Wolf of the Overworld? And, of course, obviously, the Dungeon Keeper games.
And the absolute evil took yet another hero to the slaughtering block.
Go team. Die, Pixie.
Defeating good was as easy as taking candy from a baby for the unstoppable evil.
Well, there's number one. How dare you try and smack me with a rock?
Absolute evil destroyed the defenders' camp in the east with the greatest of ease. Now, only one tiny camp offers any resistance to the absurdly evil evil. And even that won't be able to hold out for much longer.
Alright, so what's going to be the trick here?
Nothing and no one could stop the invincible evil.
What's going to happen to us?
Absolute evil destroyed the defenders' camp in the west with the greatest of ease. The defenders in front of the city had been beaten to a pulp and defeated. Now the time had come to attack King's Ending, the final battle beckoned. The city gate was firmly barricaded by the Alliance's archers, but the absolute evil would not allow itself to be held up by such
Like the gooey water here.
impediment. So, go get them, destroy them now!
Huh?
Oh yes, sorry, stay in character. The absolute evil used its all-powerful magic to eliminate the archers and open the gate to the city.
We did play Evil Genius.
Using its legend of, wait for it, dairy powers, the absolute evil destroyed the impediment with ease and simultaneously eliminated a whole group of defenders.
There we go.
The road to the capital was now clear.
Oh.
The absolute evil did not hesitate for even 1 nanosecond. The
Go team.
insidious evil entered King's Ending. A small, pitiful group of defenders stood in its place. Suddenly, the doors of several houses in the city opened, and with a loud roar, the defenders bore down on the rather surprised evil.
Am I gonna die?
And then suddenly, the absolute evil hit the ground. The day was saved, and good had triumphed. The Alliance lived happily ever after, whilst the defeated forces of evil had to eke out the remainder of their miserable existence underground. No, of course not. In reality, absolute evil was not defeated, but, just took a little comfort break. A short while later, it arose once again.
Oh. There we go. Well, that's good for me then. Oh. There we go. Break you. And say goodbye to the castle. There.
The invincible evil had crushed the defenders. King's Ending had been defeated. At least, that's what it thought. Suddenly, the final heroes of the Alliance emerged from nowhere. Another ambush? Now, this was becoming
bad, the original one.
But wait, this time it was different. Instead, the heroes raised their hands and started singing an incomprehensible chant. A magical ritual? This did not bode well. Well, actually, it bode the arrival of good things, great things, unless you happen to be the absolute evil.
Now what?
Somewhere in the depths of the dungeon, the ultimate evil awoke. It did not know what had happened, nor why it had awoken, but it longed.
Alright, let's see what we got.
The last remaining heroes of the country joined forces and cast a powerful banishment spell. The absolute evil disappeared from sight with a threatening gesture, and a faint whispered, "I'll be there," could be heard coming from its lips. The absolute evil had been banished, and its essence shattered into several pieces. Its reign of terror had ended. The good people of the overworld rejoiced, and an era of peace began for the Alliance. The evil creatures were driven back into the underground, doomed to serve as cannon fodder for pleasure-seeking adventurers. Meanwhile, secreted away in the world's most inaccessible places, the last remains of the absolute evil were resting, never again to see the light of the overworld. Until today, that is. Somewhere deep under the earth, the ultimate evil awoke.
We weren't there for too long. Alright, can we actually get to some dungeon building now? I don't know how much Dungeon Keeper 1 holds up, though.
Controlled by the ultimate evil.
The hell is that?
Come on, Hand of Terror! Arise, damn you! Methinks that exploring the surrounding area would be a sensible strategy. However, to do this, light would be required.
There we go.
Still not bright enough. An old throne room was revealed by the light.
Alright, here we go.
The circumstances remained a mystery.
What do we got here?
The Hand of Terror flew through the throne room, following each and every thought the ultimate evil had.
Oh, now
After
really
a few
zoom in.
flying sessions, the ultimate evil was able to control the hand with ease. The time had come to call forth creatures who were completely devoted to it and would do its dirty work. Little snots were the dregs of each and every dungeon and spent their time taking care of it. The expansion-mad evil hired one snot on the spot.
Alright, so the rooms themselves dictate what we can build. Pure toilet's clean.
The first little snot appeared. It was completely ready to work in the dungeon and to crawl in the dust before the ultimate evil. Little snots were important to the ultimate evil because they took care of many important
I believe it could be.
such as excavating new areas. The psionically gifted evil could sense the presence of something important that was buried to the south. It instructed its little snots to dig in that direction.
Alright, how we do that?
As quick as a fart,
There we go.
the little snot made his way to the
Yeah, so
marked
these are
position
definitely
and
like
began
dungeon
to dig.
keeper controls. Can I rotate the camera? No?
Behold, the creatures of the overjoyed evil had apparently been much more industrious than it had thought. A great dungeon was revealed behind the wall. Everything was already in place. Doors, traps, a well-filled treasury. Oh wait, treasury? And where, if you please, is this treasury? Oh well. One can't expect too much of these mindless little snots. First of all, some gold had to be dug out to make
We need more
space for
gold,
a treasury to be created. The hand of terror swiftly marked a few small gold veins
Oh, here they
so
go.
that the little snots could excavate them. As soon as a gold vein was selected, a little snot immediately set out to mine valuable gold for the greedy evil.
Come on, people, give me my gold. Alright, so they're all ready to be mined. I don't think there's a way to fast forward, unfortunately. What does this mean? I'm assuming two different kinds of maps?
Once most of the gold had been mined, the hand of terror quickly created a treasury on the spot so that the precious metal could be safely stored.
Come on, break that last thing.
The clever evil mastered this task with flying colors. From now on, little snots could use the treasury to store mined gold. It was then at the greedy evil's disposal whenever more rooms needed to be built or new creatures recruited. Little snots were all well and good, but were too weak and cowardly to defend the dungeon. Since it was not able to defend itself, the ultimate evil would have to hire some orcs.
Yeah, I think War for the Overworld is pretty much done at this point.
Well, so the next important thing to build was a brewery, and that would require some space to be created. The ultimate evil had the feeling that its servants were not really putting their backs into the work.
Come on, work.
A hearty snap from the hand of terror changed that. The sadistic evil encouraged its creature to work a little faster, with a friendly but not at all gentle snap.
There we go. Come on, people, work faster. I could, I mean, I guess, like, what would I be covering? Just, like, goods and bads of it? Oh, there you go. We could fit that in. I got a bunch of critical thought that I've been making all the thumbnails for before I do the recordings. Come on, we gotta get to this. Dig. Dig,
There
I
was
say.
now an area cleared for the brewery site, and with quick finger snaps from the hand of terror, the room stood ready.
Okay, so we have rooms.
Excellent.
There we
But
go.
the recently built brewery lacked a brewing copper. With a sigh of resignation, the overworked evil set about taking care of that too.
Silver slots. What are we doing now? Put a brew kettle. Okay, there we go. Build brew kettle. Alright, so build the building and then, or build a room, then we need to put the item in there.
Brewing copper, so that delicious beer could be
There we
brewed
go.
as soon as possible. One of the little snots started working on the brewing copper. The nostalgic evil
Let me see. Shows how well it works. Try to ensure the room is surrounded by walls as far as possible, and they have ideally also been upgraded.
banished all thoughts of Oktoberfest and brass bands. Those would have to wait. More important tasks had to be completed first. Both beer and gold were now available in the dungeon, so it was time to hire some creatures to defend against greedy heroes or whatever else snuck around underground. At present, it was only simple orcs declaring undying loyalty to the ultimate evil.
There you go, make that beer. Another thing about making beer. Alright. Oh, stop that. I want to mine this out. Alright, so how do we get more people to show? Treasury, production... From here? There we go.
Orcs were defensive close combat specialists, capable of dealing with many opponents. However, they were very vulnerable to ranged attacks.
Terrible monster. Wait, we found a badge? Oh, okay.
Payday! An eerie gong rang through the halls. It did not bode well for the ultimate evil's treasury stocks, for at each sounding of the gong, the creatures would collect their undeserved wages. However, there was little it could do about this, as it was chained to the throne. Thus, it had to give free rein to its servants' desires. For the time being, at least.
Well, looks like we need more gold. What's he doing?
The eyes of the mentally challenged evil swept over one of the dungeon doors. It was child's play for the Hand of Terror to open and close these for its servants. They were, of course, firmly locked at all times.
I'll get some more gold. That. Oh, that's right. When they redo the walls, it should improve efficiency. Go team.
Suddenly, one of the repellent evil's servants became very thirsty. This was typical of a troop member of the unanonymous alcoholics known as the Horde. The Dipso made his way to the nearest brewery to quench his thirst. A thirsty orc arrived at the brewery. Eager and slavering, he started demolishing the alcohol-hoarding evil's stock of beer.
That's it, no one people drink. So why don't people like Dungeons 2 or the Dungeon series that much? Nothing seems like outright bad so far.
One louse-infested orc crawled up from the depths and declared allegiance to the ultimate evil. The first step towards the creation of a powerful army had been taken. The dungeon of the expansion-mad evil grew and prospered, but unfortunately, it had reached the maximum possible population it could currently manage. Now a creature would have to be thrown into the bottomless pit.
I think we know what we have to get rid of.
The profound evil had had enough of dungeon sightseeing and now wanted to move to the surface to try a dish that is best served cold. Revenge. Some Alliance members were bound to be guarding the entrance to the overworld.
Goodbye.
Appetite.
No.
The creature disappeared into the pit of uselessness with a long, drawn, and gradually diminishing. This particular act of wickedness brought a smile to the face of the ultimate evil.
Another little snot's gonna have to say goodbye. Look, I can pick up the beer whenever I want.
Oh.
Goodbye, buddy. There we go. We don't need any more gold. They're gonna keep digging.
nameless evil's creatures came upon a spider's nest during their search for an entrance to the overworld. It would take more than one orc to smoke that out. The abysmal evil used the hand of terror to grab several of the creatures that were still completely inexperienced at fighting, and threw them.
Alright, pick up items.
Onto the spider's nest.
There we go. Go, team, go. Fight, fight, fight.
The spiders dropped like flies. The strategically well-versed evil patted itself on the back, proud that it had led its troops into battle with such aplomb. And by led, I just simply mean chucking them.
I do like the badge system. That's pretty nice.
The basics of the dungeon were now in place. However, the brewery was puny and didn't really have room to store beer barrels in, and the treasury was also anything but impressive in size. Quickly, the expansion-hungry evil set out to enlarge its dungeon.
Alright, I suppose we're going to need to build out another one, right? Well, we know that this could be a treasury right here. I love the fact that it costs money. Come on, you start drinking here. I bet you they want us for the treasury right here. And treasury for you. Now where?
The evil has awoken, but its brothers are still asleep.
Huh? What on earth was that? That's not in my script. What a weirdo. No matter. We'd better get back to concentrating on the dungeon.
Come on, buddy, you gotta work faster at beer. Alright, can I fill? Let's see. So it looks like we need a 3x3 for the brewery. So we can pop this out. Alright, haven't heard of that one. Screwfly. Alright. Oh, I bet we need money for that. Let's keep building out, I suppose. They might actually not need that many orcs. Alright, orc, goodbye. We need more workers here. Come on, people, we gotta move faster.
Huge monstrosity loomed out of the darkness on 8 legs.
That's not good.
This dungeon's human guards had been ancient history for a long while. Now it was home to a huge spider and her brood. Would Sam and Frodo escape it and continue their journey to Mount Doom, or was this the end of the ring bearer? Hang on a minute, that's not the right text.
Oh, now we're gonna get sued.
Oh yes, a huge spider henceforth called the Spider Queen. It would be necessary to eliminate the Spider Queen before the horde could reach the surface. The Spider Queen sent forth a wave of her children. Of course, the ultimate evil was fully aware of this danger and immediately prepared to defend itself against them.
Fight. We're getting some gold going there. Uh-oh, somebody died?
The vile perversion, once called the Spider Queen, had nothing more with which she could fight the horde. Later, the sensitive evil would have her innards made into a lava lamp. The way to the surface was open. Now it was time to put those vengeance plans into practice. The vile evil wanted to take this opportunity to utter a really sinister laugh. But unfortunately, its physical state made this unviable. Instead, it asked the narrator to do a bit of sinister laughter on its behalf. Oh well, here goes. Deep breath.
Okay then.
Once the ultimate evil had escaped from the depths, still fettered to the throne, it traveled to wreak terrible vengeance on those who had done this, heavily supported by its little snots. The first target was Paladin Robert, now king of the
Doesn't look like
Alliance.
there's any difficulty settings in this either. At some point, I would love to do a complete play of Overlord again. I thought it was a really fun game. So do we actually do some engaging now?
According to scouts, King Robert spent most of his time strolling around his hunting lodge garden reciting poetry. Soon his poetry would turn into mournful ballads. The vengeful evil thirsted to defeat the Alliance's king and mount his head on the wall as a trophy. Whoops, of course, I really mean that he wanted to take all of King Robert's cookies away. Better play it safe, or the age classification folks will be after me.
And you want Peggy to come after you.
Before that, however, the ultimate evil had to do a bit of work on the dungeon. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to fund even a small army made up of a few orcs.
Alright, what do we got? Got gold, we have rooms. I'm guessing that's the way outside. Okay, so there is a surface in the underworld. Alright, Mojo, have a good night. What's our time? Probably got another 30 minutes or so, I figure. I want people faster. Evil Genius is another one that I really hope we get a sequel to. I've heard rumors that they are going to be making a sequel to that game, but I have no idea when. Let's see. I got the gold.
The warmongering evil had hired the first orc. As ancient wisdom says, violence is a solution, usually the only one.
Yep. Violence and fire. Like as we were talking about earlier, we really haven't seen too many games really try to elevate this kind of design. Like War for the Overworld wasn't that bad, but it didn't seem to do much other than just be like, here's another dungeon
The
keeper.
restricted evil was only able to call upon orcs and little snots. But there had been rumors that some goblins were hiding out in a cave somewhere close.
Not goblins.
Another orc entered the service of the military-savvy evil. The horde was growing and prospering. The steady pounding in the rocks had given rise to overworld rumors of a new dungeon. A group of heroes set out to plunder its riches, and the ultimate evil was already looking forward to this visit.
Oh. Thank you, narrator. Maybe. Like, I haven't played this entire franchise before, just because I heard a lot of the less than flattering reviews for it.
Enemies have entered the dungeon. The strategy guide, the time to attack appeared to be right. On the surface, in the tavern of a small, miserable village, some adventurers gathered. They were acquiring Dutch courage for their visit to the dungeon by downing several beers. The dungeon had to be destroyed.
Go team, get him. Maybe next time it's on
sale. The heroes didn't know what had hit them, as several orcs bore down from nowhere and annihilated them. This group of heroes had plundered their last dungeon, but there would be...
The gold gathering is a little slow, though.
The first brewery was completed. Soon beer would be flowing like a river, and an Oktoberfest atmosphere would pervade all. Would the ultimate evil put the beer baron out of business? Such a duff reference.
That's good. Hope this is where we're supposed to build this, too.
The ultimate evil should never forget to keep a watchful eye on its beer and gold stores. If its creatures can't help themselves,
okay, so there's beer.
They will get angry fast.
Come on, work faster. We need more gold. Do they heal on their own? We almost have enough for the... Oh, we do. There we go. Now somebody can make the beer.
The ultimate evil slowly made itself cozy underground. Although this was a sensible decision, there was a large and lovely overworld out there.
Right. Okay, so higher the efficiency, the more barrels it can store.
It's payday.
Well, not payday. Alright, so... Uh-oh.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Come on, team. The problem I had with War for the Overworld, like I said, I didn't like the trap system, and it felt like it just got very repetitive. They're not mean to do that. Alright, so we'll send them out. Oh. Okay, so then this becomes like kind of like the RTS side. Interesting. Can't pick it up. There we go. I think the humor is helping. And one thing that got very repetitive was you had to keep training your minions. How are we going to do that? Okay, so if I click back here, that brings that back. I think the one like downside of the genre is that it's so easy for things to get repetitive because you're technically just doing the same thing on every map. Another thing, you don't have to a RTS side in War for the Overworld. I'm pretty sure they're gonna kill these guys, well, let's see. Yeah, it's definitely on the basic side, which I can see why people complain about it. Come on. Alright. And they should be able to handle themselves. Break it. Die, tavern. They're still building. We got beer.
A delicious rumble announced the fact that the village's last house had crashed to the ground. Ha! There would be no more heroes meeting there to seek out the dungeon of the destruction-hungry evil. The hunting lodge of King Robert lay in the north. It was there that the ultimate evil would finally get its long-awaited revenge. However, it looked pretty damn well guarded. Maybe it should first visit the cave to the west, inhabited by a clan of goblins, where the cunning evil could do a little negotiating.
Alright, let's see. What the hell? Oh, there's little rat monsters in my base now. I suppose we better take care of them.
Your throne room is under attack.
Here you go, buddy.
Oh.
Yep. But then, of course, you run to the downside of how do you make these things interesting while having multiple ways of getting through it. It's more than enough gold, I think. So how do these units heal up? I used too much gold. Alright, Draken, have a good night. Alright, so are they recovering when they drink? There we go. Okay, so getting drunk makes them heals them. Good to know.
Payday.
They're gonna get paid. We'll let them scoop up the beer, and then we'll send them back out. Man, I think another thing that's very interesting and limiting about the genre is how it always gets to that point where you're just repeating the same tasks. Like, what would be very interesting would be if someone could combine like a city builder with like this kind of design, where you can build structures that speed things up or allow you to bypass like the same like early game each time you load up a map.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Alright, that shouldn't be a problem. We'll deal with these rats first. Somebody leveled up to level 2. There doesn't seem to be a way to directly tell them in the dungeon to go after something. Kill him. Alright. Oopsie. Alright. Tell them to go over here. Meanwhile, they continue to mine our gold and make our beer. Is this a dungeon within a dungeon? Kooky. Alright, what do we got here?
The goblin leader prostrated himself joyfully before the ultimate evil, and immediately dispatched 2 goblins into its dungeon with a few plans for a new room, a tinkerer's cave. This was built as quickly as possible.
Alright, that takes care of them. Alright, so now I can build this.
The Tinkerer's Cave was built. It could, however, only be used as a warehouse, as it lacked the workshop that the insidious evil's goblins needed. Quick as a flash, Evil placed a creator mat in the Tinkerer's Cave.
Alright, so we have goblins now. And I need 350 gold. Alright, so they're back up. I think that's again the limiting factor of these kinds of games, that the core gameplay just never really expands beyond just what you're doing on the very first map. Evil Genius, I think, came a bit on the close side. That ran into its own problems as well in terms of just how linear progress really was, how you were punished if you kind of went against the grain.
The fortress could already be made out in the distance. The walls were lined with crossbowmen. A head-on assault would undoubtedly prove suicidal here.
Come on, team. Surround and kill.
The Tinkerer's Cave was still lying there completely useless. The forgetful evil should place a creator mat in there soon so that this room can be productive.
Yeah, I know. We need gold. How do I rotate? There you go.
A sparkling new creator mat graced the Tinkerer's Cave of the expansion-hungry evil. A goblin would be able to work well in here, producing toolboxes. A few of these boxes would now be needed in order to invent a trap. The moody evil waited patiently.
That takes care of them. And I guess we're just gonna leave these guys like right here as a means of defense. Alright, he's working on that. They're mining all that lovely gold out. Oh. Alright, so how do I research? Okay, need gold. Toolboxes, and we need a hospital. That. Just trying to farm as much gold as we can. That I want to go for the big pieces. Oh, that's hard rock. No wonder why it's not working. They made it back to the room yet? Should be able to build a trap now.
A little snot is secretly making jokes about the ultimate evil behind its back. You should punish it, but I forgot which one it was. They just all look the same.
There we go. Here's the challenge for everybody watching while I record it. Like, how would you make this genre more interesting?
As cowardly as the goblins were, their creativity more than made up for this. They proudly presented the treacherous evil with their plan for a devious trap. With a silent, evil cackle, it quickly buckled down to setting the trap.
Let's see. Alright, we got a trap here. Well, we might as well send them home while we prepare. Come on, work faster. Alright, so that's permanently unlocked. We got beer. So how are we going to complete this map, though? Go, team. Go get your money and your...
Job done. The trap was finished and ready to be found by a hero. This is going to be so much fun. Just at that moment, a particularly powerful dwarf warrior appeared in the dungeon. How had he suddenly arrived at this precise time was indeed most odd, but his presence was more than welcome. He was going to be a guinea pig
Let's
for
watch.
the trap.
I know, then I would pay attention to dynamite sticking out of a
Even
treasure
the strong
chest.
dwarf warrior didn't stand a chance against the treacherous traps and powerful
dwarves.
monsters of the invincible evil. He bit the dust. So much for a game of dwarves. The dungeon's defenses were now clearly much improved, but the hunting lodge still remained well protected and impregnable. There was nothing that the ultimate evil could do. The task was impossible. So the evil withdrew, bent and broken, let feelings of revenge ebb away, and instead took up looking after those cute, teeny-weeny trees. What are they called again? Bonsai, yes, that's it. The end. Pretty unsatisfactory, huh? Of course, that wasn't the end. In reality, the indefatigable evil paid the Goblin Cave another little visit. The Goblin leader would hopefully spit out something useful after a few more stabs.
Right, how do I research the hospital? Well, the answer's that.
It's payday. The expansion-driven evil couldn't wait to explore the further possibilities of the Tinkerer's Cave. In particular, a hospital seemed a useful way to cure its ailing units. It set about asking for this to be researched.
Right, how do we research it? There we go. Oh man, it's a lot of gold. I wish there would be a way to just like better to automate a lot of the gold gathering in these kinds of games. Oh, they're drinking. He's making beer. Alright, well, let's send him out again. It's nice you can actually see when the enemies are coming,
It did take a while, but the horde eventually set out to talk to the leader of the goblins again.
Alright, they're gonna be working over there.
The first treasury was completed. Soon greedy evil's little snots would fill it with gold. You know the golden rule, right? Whoever has the gold makes the rules.
Alright, so they're in the cave. We're gonna take out this guy.
A few hard slaps were enough to motivate the leader of the goblins to help the ultimate evil. As it transpired, there was an old tunnel which had been previously used as an escape route. This connected the Goblin Cave with the vaults of the hunting lodge. The goblin leader voluntarily made a goblin assassin available to the hard-hitting evil to help infiltrate the lodge.
Uh-oh.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Where is the assassin? These guys are moving so damn slow. Alright, so we have an assassin right here.
The cheerful evil was pleased with this support. An assassin was a decent melee fighter, but its actual strength lay in its ability to make itself invisible. This was, of course, tested out immediately.
Come on, team, we need you.
Defend the throne room.
Takes care of him. So at this point, I don't need to send the orcs out to do anything, right? Be sneaky there, buddy.
Despite the powerful invisibility skill, it was advisable for the ultimate evil to be cautious. Some opponents had such highly trained observation skills that they were actually able to see invisible units. A locked door prevented the assassin from progressing. It would have taken a long. The charitable evil had researched the hospital. This would enable its units to quickly recover from their injuries, once it had been built, that is.
Him. Let's build the hospital then. What's another interesting point is that there's very little in terms of like the advanced things that the War for the Overworld did. They had to build rooms of certain spaces to maximize usage, stuff like that. It looks like 3x3 seems to be the general structure. We'll build a hospital right here. Oh. I mean, over time, anyway. Yeah, we're getting there.
The on-the-ball evil recognized that the warrior princess there was extremely powerful. The goblin assassin would be best advised to avoid any contact with her.
Where'd the princess go? More of these guys. Is that it?
A Gobobot was being forced to make miserable repairs in the lodge. A brief feeling of what it thought might be sympathy passed through the sensitive evil, but this actually turned out to be a mighty belch. Naturally, it would free the useful Gobobot anyway.
Alright, how do we do that? There we go. Well, this is definitely different from the traditional games here.
Elated by the assassin's attempt at rescuing it, the Gobobot joined the horde and succeeded in showing its tormentors a real hot time. Its ability to more or less ignore ranged damage and set fire to large areas would come in very handy.
Alright, well, let's burn this place down. We need a Disco Inferno to be playing right now. I think we better destroy this tower, what did you say?
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Oh, there goes a tower. Can you just attack this? He is kicking butt, though.
The hunting lodge was completely destroyed. The vengeful evil gave itself a very self-satisfied pat on the back. The time was right to concentrate on King Robert. He was in his renowned garden reciting his much less renowned love poems. The lyrically challenged evil had no time for poetry and would soon make this tangibly clear to him.
Alright, let's build a hospital.
The caring evil had good-naturedly built a hospital for its suffering creatures. It, however, still lacked a hospital bed.
Oh,
Little
jeez.
Snots would then bring any units there that have been injured in the dungeon.
Well, we've taken out everything else here. No, we know where we're going. I still wish, like, when we were talking about, like, city builders and stuff like that, that Hinterland would have done much better. By the way, they were working on a game called Medieval Mayor that was kind of going to be like a city builder. I don't know, it's going to be like a dungeon simulator or something like Dungeon Keeper, but it never came to be, sadly. I still wish we got that game.
The first hospital bed had been built. Wounded units could now be healed in the hospital. Little Snots would also be able to bring defeated creatures here, so that they could be nursed back to health.
I think at this point, let's take our crew, deal with the king, and then we'll wrap it up. Alright, send them up there. Making the beer. Alright. Come on, guys, run faster. Alright, Malwinius. Thanks for coming on. If you wouldn't mind putting the name of that developer in the Discord, let me know. Or could you do that for me? And I'll see what kind of games they're making. Alright, so everybody is in position.
Payday.
No time for payday, we got people to kill.
The king was accompanied by a pixie who was able to cast powerful healing magic. Any direct attack would be suicidal.
So what do we do?
Mercifully, the omniscient and helpful narrator was at hand. He pointed out to the impatient evil that the pixie went off from time to time in order to check that all was well, and much more importantly, eat her supper in a little camp to the south. The pixie buzzed over to eat her meal. The ultimate evil prepared an ambush.
Hey, Wendrick. So it's time to kill a little pixie fairy. Uh-oh.
One would think that killing a fragile flying being wouldn't be rocket science. But an incredibly incompetent evil had taken far too long in doing so, and had startled the few guards into action.
There we go. Uh-oh. AoE.
The annoying little pixie had spoken her last healing spell. The crafty-minded evil sculpted a fan from her wing. Now it was time to look for King Robert and ensure his early demise.
Alright, say goodnight, King Robert.
King Robert fell, and the ultimate evil had received its well-deserved revenge. But there were still many more heroes out there who deserved to bite the dust. Their time would come.
Alright.
The demigod Krotos, one of the sniveling cowards who had banished the ultimate evil, had just marched his alliance army out of the swamplands to fight the snake-like Nagas. The ultimate evil wanted to teach him the full futility of war by
Alright, not bad. It definitely does things a little bit differently compared to War for the Overworld, which really adheres to that Dungeon Keeper formula. I like the fact that each map seems to have its own little special quest to it. Let's see. Oh, and these are the DLC. Apparently I got DLC for free. Game of Winter. All that other good stuff. So apparently they're up to Dungeons 3 now. Yeah, so I'm liking this game. It's not... I think I can see it's not going to be the most complicated Dungeon Keeper sequel. Oh, nice. We were talking about that lately. Or we were talking about that earlier while everybody was on. One of these days, though, there is enough interest. I'd like to do a full playthrough of Overlord, though. Because I really like the games that go for you being the bad guy. Evil Genius, again, as we talked about earlier, was pretty good. Just seems like it's very hard to, like, elevate this kind of design. Because either we go in this kind of direction where it's more RTS with the light dungeon management, or you go for full dungeon management with Dungeon Keeper and War. I guess after Evil Genius didn't quite light everybody's fire, nobody else really wanted to make another one. Yeah, I like that one too. And then the third game was just, I heard, absolute rubbish. Yeah, I would like to see a true Overlord 3. That was done by Triumph Studios, right? Here we go. We're finishing up tonight's stream, looking up another game to play. Yeah, Triumph. My God, it came out in 2007, the first game. Too bad. Maybe someday they'll convince it. I'm trying to read the studio is still alive, or it went under. I'm pretty sure Triumph is still making games. Oh, so in 2017 they were acquired by Paradox. Oh, they're working... Oh, they do the Age of Wonders as well. So chances are we're not going to be seeing an Overlord 3 for some time. And they were not the developers of the third game that actually came out. Oh well. Well, I think with that we are going to say goodnight. So we finished one game, we got started on two other ones. So for Sunday night, we're going to try and do some co-op, or we'll do a classic gameplay. Next Saturday will be the Indie Spot... No wait, I'm sorry. The following Saturday will be an Indie Spotlight stream. So we'll do one more grab bag. And of course, voting will go up on the Discord channel in a few days. And we'll see what crazy games we'll play next time. So everybody, have a great evening. And come back for daily discussions on game design here and on game wisdom, where some of the art and science of games. Until next time, have a great night.